Hey guys, welcome back to Simply Bailey. Today we're talking about the osprey, and I've got to say these birds are just fun to watch. If you've ever seen one near the water, you know exactly what I mean. They'll be flying around like everything's normal, and then suddenly they fold up and dive straight into the water. There's no hesitation, no second thoughts, just straight in. And every single time, it just makes you want to stop and watch, even if you've seen it before. So today, I thought we'd talk about what makes these birds so fascinating. Because once you start paying attention to them, you realize there's a lot more going on than just big bird catches fish. The osprey is a large bird of prey. Unlike eagles or hawks, this bird has really chosen a specialty: fish. That's the whole job. About 99% of their diet is fish. That's not mostly fish, that's almost entirely fish. Which honestly means they figured out what they like and they stuck with it, and it works. You'll usually find them anywhere there's water: lakes, rivers, marshes, coastlines, even ponds. If there are fish there, there's a good chance an osprey knows about it. They're found on every continent except Antarctica, which is pretty wild when you think about it. They've managed to make themselves at home almost everywhere. What makes them really interesting is how specifically built they are for one job. Their wingspans can get close to 6 feet, so when one flies overhead, you really notice it. They've got bright white underneath, dark brown on top, and that dark stripe across their eye that makes them look really serious, like they've got a meeting to get to, but their feet are where things get really impressive. The bottom of their feet have tiny rough bumps called spicules, basically built-in grip tape, perfect for grabbing slippery fish, and one of those outer toes can rotate. That lets them hold a fish with 2 toes in front and 2 in the back, a better grip, a smarter design. It's one of those moments when you realize nature really thought this through. Now this is everybody's favorite part, watching them hunt. They'll circle over the water, then slow down, then hover, and you can tell they're looking, really looking. Not rushing, not guessing, then suddenly they commit, straight down into the water, feet first. Sometimes they disappear completely for a second. Then they come up, usually holding a fish, and they make it look so easy. That's years of instinct and practice. And here's something really cool. When they fly off with that fish, most of the time they turn it so the fish faces forward. That way there's less drag while flying. Even their takeout is organized. That detail always makes me laugh. Now let's talk about their nest, because these things are huge, and I mean really huge. Ospreys like to build high up: dead trees, utility poles, nesting platforms, channel markers. Anywhere with a good view. But here's the thing. They don't usually build a brand new nest every year. They come back to the same one and add more sticks. And more sticks, and even more sticks. Eventually, these nests can weigh hundreds of pounds, some even more than that. At some point, it stops being a nest and starts being an actual structure. You almost expect it to have a mailbox. A lot of osprey pairs also return to the nesting site every year. There's something kind of nice about that. And if you've ever seen an osprey nest in person, you know exactly what I mean. They're hard to miss. Once you notice one, you start spotting them everywhere. A lot of the ospreys we see in North America head south for the winter. Some go all the way to South America. That's thousands of miles across land, across open waters, and somehow they make it back to the same general area, sometimes even the same nest. That's one of those things about birds that always amazes me. You realize how much they're capable of, and how little they actually need from us to do it. Seeing them now is especially meaningful because there was one time when their future wasn't so great. Back in the mid-1900s, osprey numbers dropped hard because of a pesticide called DDT. It caused major problems with their eggshells, and the population declined fast. But over time, habitat protections improved, the pesticide was banned, and conservation groups helped create safer nest areas. And slowly, osprey populations started recovering. Now they're one of those birds people get excited to see again, and that's a good thing. A couple of quick things people don't always know about ospreys. Their call is surprisingly high-pitched. If you've never heard one before, it might surprise you. For a big bird, it's not exactly the tough guy sound you'd expect. Also, they're incredibly adaptable. That's part of the reason they've done so well. They've learned how to use man-made structures for nesting all the time now. Poles, platforms, stadium lights, you name it. They basically figured out how to live around us without asking permission. I kind of respect that. One thing I really like about ospreys is they just seem steady. They don't look rushed. They don't waste movement. Everything they do feels intentional. And maybe that's why they are so enjoyable to watch. They make it look simple, even though what they're doing is anything but simple. So next time you're near the water, look up. If you see a big bird hovering overhead, stop for a minute and watch. You might get lucky and see one of the best fishermen in the bird world doing what it does best. Thanks again for hanging out with me today on Simply Bailey. And if you enjoyed wildlife like I do, make sure you subscribe so you can come along for the next adventure. And I'll see you on the next one.